Welcome to Talk the Walk. I'm DT Elam alongside my co-host JB Barroso. JB, how's it going, partner?
Doing good, DT. It's a pleasure to be here this evening, and I think we got a great topic.
I think so too. Here at Talk the Walk, there's been a nice camaraderie of True Sim and UFL, and I think all these members wanted to better grasp the trials and tribulations, the development process of a boxing game. And today we have a special guest here to discuss that matter. But before we get there, let's go with the first topic at hand. You want to throw it out there, JB?
Sure. Yeah, Undisputed. That game has been very successful, no matter how you feel about it, whether you like it or whether you don't like it so much. But highly successful. In fact, it's the first boxing game in over 13 years that came out in the top 10. It cracked the top 10. It debuted at number 4 for PlayStation, Xbox, and PC. And it is now, as of December, the number 34 best selling game of the year. And so it has opened up doors for other boxing games. And that's our topic today. We'll open this up to the panel.
Bad man. How do you see it?
Yeah, I mean, I think the success of Undisputed shows that there is a path to create a boxing game, whether it's like with Undisputed, it's a smaller dev company or like a bigger company. It shows the on the game dev side that there is a path, there is a market for it. I mean, the market's very hungry for it. Obviously, it's done really well. And then on the side of the boxers, it's showing them that there's a path as far as getting licensed for a boxing game. I'm sure throughout the last 13 years of not having like a really credible boxing game, it's kind of been a bad experience along that way. And so it's showing through the success of Undisputed that there's a way for boxers to get their name out there. I'm sure a lot of boxers have got more popular, just like the younger audience that the game has brought into the sport. So I think all in all, it's a really good thing for the market and for the gaming industry as a whole. Everybody likes a good fighting game. And so the success Undisputed just proves that it's still there. There's still money in that.
Very good. And Outhouse Man, how do you feel, bud?
I mean, you cannot deny the success of Undisputed. It has its up and downs. There's a lot of people that hate on it. There's a lot of people that love on it. But there's one thing for sure: it does show that boxing is far from dead. Fight Night dropped it and said there just wasn't enough into it, but this goes to show otherwise. There's a lot of people that are just ready for the next thing. I think sometimes as well because they're so disappointed in the ups and downs. But that just shows how hungry people are in the boxing industry for that need to play something. They want a boxing game.
All right, very good. And the Burger Man.
Undisputed is a great success. It was a need for the market. It was been absent for 13 years, a boxing game. And having this out brings other competitions or other people trying to make one. And I think it's healthy, very healthy for that.
Yeah, actually, holding the flag for the game and really going through the community and champion this game, it's definitely going to be total carnage. Welcome, total carnage.
Well, the success of Undisputed shows that first and foremost, boxing isn't dead. It proves that there's still a general interest in boxing, widespread public. It promotes the sport that we all love. It brings in a new audience, younger audience, and it creates competition between developers. I'm an old head. I don't know if you guys remember back in the day, NFL 2K5 versus Madden. That's some of the greatest rivalry between football games ever. And the day that competition ended, Madden went downhill. So the success of Undisputed, it brings small-time developers say, oh, I want to create a game like that. I want to make the next Undisputed. I want to make something better than Undisputed. So I wanted to segue into, other games. We're talking about the success bringing into, competition. A while back, I found out I was watching, I believe, Fanatico, and I came across Bloody Knuckle Street Boxing. Started watching the game, fell in love with it. Not too long after, the developer dropped an alpha. I hopped on. Within an hour, I was addicted. I went straight to league, immediately started pumping the game, telling everybody they need to come over, check it out. So I'm just happy that we were able to get Love C Shorty on here. to talk about the game.
So speaking of this game, Bloody Knuckles, we're actually happy to introduce the actual creator, Love Seat Shoddy. Welcome to Talk the Walk.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Appreciate you having me, man. Happy to be here.
It's a pleasure, Love Seat. Glad to have you. I just want to know from you, what are the challenges of developing a boxing game? How did you get started doing this? And tell us what it's like.
Challenges, I mean, I don't even have enough time to talk about all the challenges. I can literally talk about this stuff all day, and I have a bad habit of that, so I'm gonna try to keep it short and sweet, man. But like, yeah, there's a lot of challenges that goes into game development, period. But boxing, it's a totally different monster because it's a very intricate sport. It's a lot of inches, a lot of angles. It's a lot of math that we don't even realize that boxers are doing to be able to land that perfect shot on the chin. So I mean, a lot of the challenges that come with uh, developing that game. It's for one, trying to have to basically respect the sport, to give it those small attention to detail, so that for guys who are like really enthusiasts about boxing, they can really appreciate those elements, because guys are really serious about boxing. Um, a lot of people think that game development is easy. That's a really big challenge. One thing about game development is that it's like a blank canvas, really. Like, you're literally starting with a world that's nothing, and that world you're God. Once you say something exists, it exists. And it takes a lot of critical thinking to make those things exist, and to make those things do what you want them to do. You can't just type in to an AI program, go gadget, punch them. It just doesn't work that way. You have to think through things. What do I want to accomplish? And then you have to figure out how you're going to accomplish those things. So that's one of the biggest challenges right there, is the fact that you have that blank canvas and that you have the freedom, so you could waste a lot of time. I definitely waste a lot of time because I have all of that freedom. Also, even once you get further down the line, you have things like, and God, I didn't even realize this when I was a gamer. I would get so mad when patches would come out, like say NBA 2K, for instance. They would patch something that has to do with the game mode, and then next thing you know, Jump Shot 23 no longer hits green lights. Stuff like that actually happens in game development. You can work on code, and it will literally break something that is totally unrelated, or it'll alter something that's closely related. And really, all the engine is telling you a lot of times is that you did it right, it worked before, but now that you've progressed your code some more, you can do that a better way. There's a better way to do that. I try to, I make a joke a lot of times. I say Unity, the Unity engine, because that's the only engine that I have experience with. But the Unity engine kind of works like a woman. You know how women kind of say that it's not what you say, but how you say it. That's how Unity operates. Like, I can go through a lot of code and I'm like, oh, why does this not work? Like, it was just working 3 weeks ago. And then once I sit down with my critical thinking, I was like, okay, there's a better way that I can do this. And then Unity's like, there you go. I know you can do it.
I'm curious about something. Since you don't have the probably the good pleasure of using motion capture, what do you use as a resource, as a baseline for boxer movement and mechanics? I'm real curious about that.
Yeah. So the way I started by downloading some animations off of Mixamo.com, which is pretty much where every game developer starts when they're learning things. They have very limited resources, and luckily, recently I've got the pleasure of working with a gentleman named Olav Metal, who not only designed a lot of the 3D elements in the game that recently dropped with Patch 0.4, such as the shoes, but he also does animations. He designed a few of those referee animations where he's like doing the, like, hey, I'm giving you a warning, stop doing that, no punching behind the head. Yeah, he created those things. So yeah, there are ways to make animations from scratch. It's a lot harder than motion capture, but you know, when you have limited resources, you kind of just gotta go with the punches and do what you have.
Great. Well, DT, why don't you get our panel on board here and let them begin to ask some questions?
Yeah, I'm sure they're actually licking their chops to ask some questions about Bloody Knuckles. So let's start with Badman. Badman, you have any questions for Love Seat Shoddy?
Yeah, for sure. And again, Love C, happy to have you here on the show and appreciate all the work that you do over there for the game. And the community really appreciates it as well. So my question is, what is your process when you're for implementation of, say, a patch or when you drop something big in the game? What does that testing and release implementation process look like for you?
Okay, so like I said, I've never worked in a professional field doing this. I just kind of started out of the blue. So what I do is I definitely I'm very thorough with my notes. I try to keep a lot of notes and have some goals set for myself. I use milanote.com. It's a very good website for you to use to organize a lot of your notes and things like that. What I do is I have like a really big list of bullet points and I have them categorized with what they entail, and I just go through them throughout my day when I can't get around to it because I do work a regular job. But I'll run through them all, and then once I meet a really big milestone, I'll make my dev logs where I tell the community what I've been working on like that. And then once I get a little bit closer to dropping it as a patch, I have my team of security, my top flight security guys in my Discord who act as my testing pool. And yeah, I let them just have at it, and I say, hey, these are your goals. These are the things that you're on to be looking for. And yeah, have at it. Let me know what I missed, and then once I handle everything, then now it's time to release it to the public.
Okay, that makes sense. How many people are on the testing team, like roughly?
Right now we got about 9 people.
Got you. Got you.
All right, Burger. Do we have any questions for Love Seat Shoddy?
Yes. What inspired you to make this game, and are you a big boxing fan?
I'm a huge boxing fan, a really big boxing fan. I really started to get into the intricacies of boxing with Fight Night Champion. And then, of course, around that era, that's when Floyd Mayweather was really making his noise. So watching Floyd Mayweather and playing Fight Night Champion and moving around like him and stuff like that, instantly got addicted. But what really got me started in game development per se is I came into it as a 2K player on YouTube. I was just playing NBA 2K, and I was so frustrated because I felt like I had so much input to add to the community, but because my channel was so small, I was never heard. So there was not a lot of changes that were being made in the game that I felt that were needed, and I I attributed that to the fact that there was really no competition. There used to be NBA Live back in the day, and there was a clash, NBA Live and NBA 2K, and then NBA Live just kind of fell off, and they almost came back with NBA 2K or NBA Live 19, which I really loved that game, but they just kind of gave up after that, and I just was like, okay, I'm not being heard, and they have no competition, so they can do whatever they want to do. So I have to do something. Somebody's got to do something about it. And I'm not just going to keep talking and complaining and making videos. So I'm going to do something about it. So decided to learn how to do game development. But once I started to really sit down and think it through, I'm like, okay, maybe let's not go for the monster just yet because 2K will just swallow me all the way up. So how about I just go to an underserved market, which is the boxing community, which haven't had a game since Fight Night Champion. So that's what got me to go into there. And then ironically, I found out about ESBC, aka Undisputed, like a month into development. And once I saw that, I had the same thought of like, okay, well, they're gonna swallow me up. But then I was like, no, you already started. Do what you gonna do.
I want to commend you for pursuing your dream and sticking to your word.
Yes,
It takes
sir.
a lot. It takes a lot of heart.
Yeah, I'll tell you that your game is quite different from Undisputed. I've played it a little bit, and it's definitely a very different game from Undisputed. How about Outhouse Man? Let's hear from you, buddy.
Yeah, absolutely. I've also had the pleasure of trying it out. Tonal Carnage is a very big advocate for the game. So I've definitely tried it out with him, and I will say it's probably the most detailed boxing game that I have ever played. And right now users are connecting via Parsec to play with one another. So my question is, do you plan on releasing online multiplayer for the game?
Yes, absolutely. So this journey is definitely a journey. Like I'm learning and building my plane as I'm flying it. So online is not something that I've gotten to a point where I can release it to the public yet, but I definitely have made leeway on it, and I'm going to be making a really strong push towards online matchmaking in 2025.
That's
Very
great to
good.
me.
And Total Carnage.
I don't have any questions. I just want to promote the game. This game is if you're looking for a sim boxing game, this is the game. You want to move your head and your feet at the same time, you can do it. You want to extend your lead arm, create traffic in the punching lanes, you can do it. Switch stances on a dime, you can do it. You can pivot. Anything you want to do. You're not controlling a character, you're controlling a puppet. So anything that you think of that you want to do, the character is your puppet on this game. So
That's dope because I saw the game on, like you said, Boxing Fanatical. I looked at it. I didn't get to play. I wasn't, I was a graphics guy, so I didn't pay too much to that. But when Carnage was like, "Yo, you gotta play this. You gotta play this," and I'm like,
I've been
"Let me see
making
what."
them.
Yeah, he harassed me for like a good week.
Within 10 minutes, he's like, "Man, this is way more sim than
Yeah,
Undisputed."
yeah. And I was like, "Oh no, this is good." But it's hard to get my reflexes off Undisputed and translate to Bloody Knuckles
Oh
because
yeah, you
it's not the
can't. You
same. So
can't.
when I play Bloody Knuckles, I have to get warmed up and then I'll be all right to play. But I'm gonna go back to Undisputed. It's like I have to do the same thing and go do the reverse thing, and I'm all messed up right now. I'm all messed up because of the body.
It is different, man, because I gave it a try and I found out I was turning around backwards and the guy was hitting me in the back of the head. And I was trying to defend myself, man. I'm like hiding
It
in a
takes a
corner.
minute.
Hey, don't give him your back, JB.
Good action.
I've been
Well,
playing it heavy since basically November, and I haven't put it down. Since December, I haven't even touched Undisputed. All I've been playing is Bloody Knuckles.
Nice. Well, for the record, I am working on the referee, so there won't be no more hitting in the back of the head eventually.
Well, I got to stop turning my back on the guy. It's all he had, unless he wants to kick me in the butt.
Yeah, he gonna start taking points. So don't. Yeah, we ain't gonna do that because yeah, it's very easy. Well, I ain't gonna say it's easy because once you get in there with somebody who knows what they're doing, like they're not gonna let you take their back like that. But you'll get into those situations where they do get your back, and they have a free shot. And obviously, that's not boxing.
I have a question. Are you able to implement punching in the clinch?
Punching in the clinch. Well, the clinching system is all organic based on that puppet system. So it's really not so much of that I'm going to be implementing punching in the clinch versus just fine tuning the punching in the targeting. So there may be some adjustments that I can make to make the punches kind of adjust to come in a little bit tighter when you're on the inside. Eventually, I definitely want to get to the consoles, but I get that question a lot. I'm so far from that. I really don't even like to think about it right now because, like I said, I have so many enthusiasts. Like I think like I kind of shot myself in the foot diving into this because like not because boxing is such an intricate sport that people who are into boxing pay attention to every little detail. So now that I've gotten started, now I have to like really fine tune a lot of things, and I may end up adding things because people still want more features added. For the most part, I'm done adding features, and I'm just going to fine tune what I have. Once I get the game more fully fleshed out to being the final vision that I had of it being the 2K of boxing, that's when I'll start to dance with the idea of moving to Xbox and PlayStation.
It's a
Oh
great
yeah.
game, but it's very intricate, and
Yeah.
I'd be surprised how boxing knowledge you need. You really got to pivot. You really got to focus. It's not like you pick it up and you get to play like you know how to. No,
Oh
this
yeah,
is very different.
for sure,
Yeah.
for sure.
That's I would say like when I was playing 2K, like my the whole 2K experience influenced the way that I developed this game. And one thing that I really hated about 2K was a lot of the hand holding in a game that's so serious because it's 2025 now. These games, let's just face it, these games aren't for kids anymore. Like these are games for grown-ups now. I dance with I flirt with the idea all the time of like what would people do if they had a game that they couldn't complain about? Like what if everything that went wrong is your fault? How would they receive that? So my goal is to develop a game where you're in complete control so that when something goes wrong, sorry bro, you just trash or you just got outsmarted. Sorry. Don't complain to me. You get better. People say that all the time, but it's like you can't really say that with certain games. Like I don't think you can say get good with Undisputed to a certain extent, but with BKSB it's like, yeah, bro, get good. Put some hours in because somebody who's got 5 hours is just absolutely not going to beat somebody who's got 100 hours. Yeah, but just before I let y'all go, you know what I'm saying? I definitely want to say thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. This was fun, man. I appreciate y'all, you know what I'm saying, putting the light on a little guy like me. But on a even smaller note, like it's just dope as hell the fact that like we're like sitting up here and actually doing a collaborative YouTube video. This is like when I be messing up and it's like, oh shit, cut. Like we're doing that together. That's dope as hell.
Yes.
That's right. Love Seat. Let us know all about this game, Bloody Knuckles, and tell them where they can find it.
Yes, sir. So yeah, Bloody Knuckle Street Boxing. It's a passion project of mine that I've been working on for 4 years, and it's finally available on Steam. You can get it right now for $15. It's an early access, and yeah, I just want you to know before you dive into this, I want you to make sure that this is something that you really want to get into because this is not your typical boxing game. As Carnage said, you have total control over a digital puppet. I mean, everything is pressure sensitive. You have pressure sensitive punch power, pressure sensitive tracking on the punch. You actually have to tell your guy. You can actively change the trajectory of your punch, and you can create traffic with a lead hand paw. You have total control over your block. I mean, it's complete control of. You've never had this much control of a boxer in any game in your life. And because of the intricacies, it can be very frustrating, especially when going against my AI, because he's meant to be a training simulation as of now. He's going to get a lot more upgrades and he's going to be more active, more human-like. But yeah, he's a little bit stronger than you, so he'll definitely be a challenge of yours. But what I will say is that when I released the early access, the selling point was definitely multiplayer. If you're going to buy this game, I highly suggest that you go to my Discord and definitely get in there with the community, make some friends, play on Parsec or remote play, and yeah, when you play the game that way, it's night and day because now you're actually in a real boxing match where you actually have to match wits with another guy who actually knows what he's doing in that ring. There's a really enthusiastic community there, and I definitely think you guys can find a home there if you're a real boxing enthusiast. If you really love the art of boxing like I do, you're gonna love this game, man. So there's that. You can find the game on Steam, and also I do periodic updates where I do a lot of detailed devlogs on my YouTube channel. So you can find me on YouTube at Love C Shawty, or you can type in Bloody Knuckle Street Boxing on Google or YouTube, and my face will pop right up and it'll lead you right to it.
All right. Well, thank you to our guests, especially our special guests here, Love Seat Shawty, and all the members of the panel tonight. This has been Talk the Walk. I'm DT Elam alongside JB Barroso. Have a good night.